and get, like the one time that happened at the end of the St. Mary's game in the final when they broke the press and they got a lob dunk to Chet in the last minute, like that kind of thing. They need to break the press with the mentality that they're going to score off breaking the press. But in San Francisco, they were just breaking the press just to drain the clock, and they'd have a wasted empty possession, and San Francisco kind of caught back up.
I got so angry at this. It was like long-time listeners to the show will know my frustration when Mark Few does this, take the air out of the ball, take the pedal off the gas at the end of a game when he's got a big lead. He does it. It's an MO with him. He does it. It's been done before. It's bitten us in the ass before. Most of the time it works because we just win. And this is what happens. I had an all caps anger text to Chris. I think stop doing this, Mark Few. What are you doing? And it's frustrating as hell because there were a couple of times where, like, man, they break that press and it's wide open for like a dunk or an easy lay-in. They didn't do it. So I complained to my grandmother, 94-year-old grandmother, like, oh man, Mark Few with the slowing down. She's like, it seems ridiculous, but he's a winner, so he must have a reason. Like, I was like, yeah, I can't argue with the W.
It's not really an arguable thing.
Yeah. So anyway, the words of wisdom from Grandma Betty there.
There you go.
Any disagreement you have with Mark Few can be answered like that. Well, he wins 85% of his games.
Yeah. So
it is frustrating to watch.
It is frustrating. It's a little worrisome when you think about the games we've struggled this year, whether it's Tarleton or Duke or to a lesser extent on offense anyway, Alabama. Ball pressure getting up in Nemhard means we get out of our rhythm on offense, and it's really tough to figure out where you look at the best teams Gonzaga has had. That 2017 team, we had Perkins and Nigel. Last year we had Nemhard and Suggs. We don't really have that second ball handler consistently. It's always Nemhard. So if they're able to either take the ball out of his hands or make it so that he struggles and gets either taken out of rhythm, whether it's St. Mary slowing down or USF at the end of the game speeding up, then it's a worry. It's a real worry. And it's something that I have reservations about going into the NCAAs. It's small sample, but it's a worry.
Reluctantly agree with you. You would like two legitimate point guards on the floor, and I was really hopeful that it would be Nolan Hickman, and I was really confident that it would be Nolan Hickman through the first half of the season.
Yeah,
but in the
for a while it was.
For the last month, even longer, he's really struggled, and now he's just kind of a non-factor. He's in the game. He's actually, I think, playing well on defense. I have nothing to complain about his defensive performances, but offensively, he's like a black hole on our team. He doesn't take shots. He looks like he has no confidence. He's not really involved.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of Watson last year before the switch flipped, when he just was hesitant and just didn't feel like he had it in him to really take it upon himself to break out of a slump. So we'll see what happens. But that was, as you said, Mard, not really worrisome in the game, but just enough to make you kind of go, what are we doing here, people? To your point, Adam, not Bouyer's lowest offensive rating, and not, he scored lower points. He's had a couple games with 0 points in his career, but that was the worst shooting in terms of 1 for 11 that he's had. So
yeah, rough night.
Props to Hickman and Salas and Nemhard and Bolton for locking down the guards, at least for, if you put Bouye and Shabazz together, 3 out of 4 halves, put it, if you get what I'm saying. So other thoughts from the USF game before we move to the game from this evening?
Just a little bounce back game from Watson. Actually, both games. His offensive rating wasn't great because he had lots of turnovers, but he was 4 of 6 from from 2-point range. He had a 3 that was halfway down and then came back out. He had 10 rebounds in this game, so a 8.10 rebound performance with also 3 assists. I can't complain about that, even though he did have 4 turnovers. But I thought a really good and needed bounce back game after several, like 3 or 4 straight games where he wasn't even a factor.
Yeah. Good call.
Well, let's turn one more time ahead to, thankfully, the last time we will see them this year, unless it's in an NCAA final.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
I just realized something.
Uh-oh.
Gonzaga will almost certainly never play against Tommy Kusi ever again,
Oh, man.
unless they
So
somehow
long. It's been so long.
unless they somehow meet up in the tournament. It'll never. How many games have we played against that little squeaker?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. You bite your tongue. That's the WCC sixth man of the year.
Sixth man of the year.
What do you mean? He won the sixth man of the year. Like,
I know,
that's not a debatable statement.
Didn't Gonzaga? Didn't Gonzaga have a sixth man award recently, where the guy who
I think it was
started
Nemhard last year.
Oh, it was last year,
right? Wasn't that
When he
Nemhard last
started-
year?
I think you're right. Probably. Why doesn't the WCC do that? They shouldn't do that.
Because I think if you don't start like half the games, then it counts or some nonsense.
Yeah, but he's whatever. Sixth man, whatever.
He apparently didn't start from December 22nd through the Gonzaga the first Gonzaga game. Even though he started the beginning of the
started
season
the majority of the games
through them. He certainly started the majority, just not the majority of the WCC games, which is probably how he ended up.
He played St. Mary's 3 times in less than a month. I'm done.
That is yeah. I don't want to
have this taste in my mouth.
I'm just done with it.
Terrible bitterness and just gross. Like it tastes like I don't know.
I've had enough.
Pounds.
I've had enough.
They have a unique way of just sucking the fun out of any basketball game.
Yes. Great way.
Like they just suck you by.
Yeah.
I want to watch basketball because it's a fun thing to do, especially when your team's really good. That you have fun watching them. I don't have fun watching that stupid team play against my favorite team. They make it unfun. Chris is right. They suck the fun out of it.
Yeah.
They're party poopers.
And to top it off, they beat us more than any other team consistently because they're.
Which isn't to say they beat us a lot.
No,
it's not even the biggest. It's like this is a kind of a separate issue. I'm looking like the aesthetics of the game, the experience of watching the game. It's anger. I'm angry.
Yeah.
Even the games where Gonzaga is struggling, might be struggling against a different team. It's still not. It's not the same amount of anger. It's just it's different with St. Mary's.
Yeah. They're the worst, very much so. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in this game. So we talked about the front court going crazy against USF, 47 points from Timmy, Watson, and Chet. This time around, just the inverse, 28 points from that trio, but it felt like a lot less. Like Watson had, I think, almost 10 points. I'd have to double check off the top of my head, but Timmy and Chet, I think, combined for 5 points in the first half, something like that.
Brutal.
Just Timmy had 2 official shots. I think he had 1/3 one that was that they called a foul on. That if one of those, if it makes it, it counts. But just he could not get untracked in the first half. But thankfully, we had the backcourt to take care of it. Let's talk a little bit about Julian Strother in that first half.
Julian, well, I texted you guys as the game started. After it tipped, I said, big night coming for Strother. And then he scored 13 in the first half. So I'm going to toot my own horn there. You could.
Is that what that was?
To be fair.
That was you tooting your own horn?
To be fair. Many people were predicting a Julian Strother game. He's very good at playing basketball, and when he has a game where he has like 2 shots and 5 points and not a single field goal made, just 5 free throws, you can probably safely predict he's going to bounce back because he's very good at the game of basketball. So in the first half, he was really dialed in, and he had 3 3-pointers, and he was just money. He was awesome. Nemhart was great the entire game. So the front court was, Rasir Bolton was great, especially in a key stretch in the second half. The whole back court was so nails.
So good
in this game. Hunter Salas had some real good energy off the bench.
He was awesome. He was awesome both games. You gave him credit for both games. He was terrific.
He only had 7 minutes in this game, but
I know.
Every time he's on the floor, it feels like he's really having an impact defensively. I look at the boxer now, seeing that he only had 7 minutes, and I'm like, how is that even possible? It felt like he was in the game. The minutes he gave were.
Hickman's in there doesn't do anything. He had a bunch of zeros, which is I'd rather see Salas in at this